Do you want to teach social skills to kids that struggle? Well, you're not alone. That's what we're talking about in this video. I'm Nicolene Peck, and I teach parenting, family relationship building, and communication all over the world through the lens of self-government. And in this video, we're going to be talking about social skills, and I have a feast of those for you. In this video, I have a feast of skills for you that you can teach your children who might be struggling socially a little bit. Teach them how to step out of their comfort zones, how to engage in conversation with other people, how to be understood when they need to so that they don't get upset and lose control, as well as how to bond better with you. That's right. When we teach our children social skills, the best place to teach those social skills is actually in the home. There are 3 different ways that a person learns social skills. They either learn them from their family and home environment, or they learn them from same age peers, or they learn them from the media. Now, I want you to think, where do you want your child to learn their social skills from? For most people, they want them to learn the social skills from them. They have the most wisdom, they know the child the most, they understand the culture that they live in, they can help the child more than the media can, and certainly more than same-age peers who don't have that much life experience or intelligence when it comes to real social training. So how do we train our children socially? It starts with the bond that we create with them when they are young. Bonding with our children and taking them along with us as we work, as we play, as we go throughout our daily activities actually begins the social training very young. Parents make a big mistake by putting their children in front of digital devices or in other settings where they're always playing with a friend or being entertained by a sitter or a center and not taking the child along with them enough, because then the child loses the opportunity of learning the social skills from the social skill master, which is you. Now, I know there are a few parents who think, but I'm not very good at social skills, so my child needs to learn social skills better than me. It still starts with you bonding to them. You bonding to them creates security that will help them be able to apply any social training that they gain from you or elsewhere. So the first thing you want to do is decide what you want your home culture to be like. Make a deliberate home culture where there's a lot of conversation that happens and where people spend time socially interacting with each other. So if this means you need to turn off devices and have less play dates so that you can put the top priority, your family, first, then definitely do it. Do not hesitate to put family first, even though our society is increasingly more social all the time. Just because our society is feeding social interaction and acting like the social outside of the home is the most important does not mean that it actually is. So it has been proven that children thrive better when they have a strong bond with both mother and father in their home environment. So that training that they get there will set the stage for all the rest of their social interactions. So make bold decisions, turn things off, decide to engage more as a family in the evening by playing games together, reading stories together, discussing, going on walks, doing the types of things that truly social people do. For a child to improve socially, they have to embrace the idea of self-analysis. So a good home culture will also have an element of analysis in it, which means when children do good things, there's going to be praise. When they do bad things or things they shouldn't have done, then there is going to be correction. This consistent praise and correction teaches cause and effect, which will help them better fine-tune their social skills when they're practicing them. That's right. That's what the friends are for, is practice, not really for social skills training. So what should we teach our children so that they can practice these things with friends? There are multiple different skills. But before I get to those skills, subscribe to this channel. Click on that subscribe button now so that you don't miss all the great content that comes out on this channel every day. So let's talk skills. There are multiple skills that could be helpful for a child learning social development. There are 4 basic skills that I teach as part of the Teaching Self-Government course that's on my website, teachingselfgovernment.com. Those 4 skills are following instructions, accepting no answers, accepting consequences, and disagreeing appropriately. If a person learns these 4 basic skills, that takes care of 99% of their behavioral problems, but not just that, it also helps them have all of the social training that they need for the majority of their circumstances, unless they're missing a couple of other key pieces. So let's talk about these skills briefly. If a person knows how to follow instructions, they can look at a person. Now that's a social skill right there. Keep a calm face, voice, and body. This means planning how you will interact with other people. Social skill. Say okay. Oh, there's words. Social skill. Or disagree appropriately. There's another social skill. Then they do the task immediately, which means they take action socially. That's huge. And then check back. Oh, look, there's more talk. So if I'm teaching my child at home that when I give them an instruction, they need to do all 5 of those things, they are practicing all 5 of those social lessons with me repeatedly, many, many times throughout the day. All 4 of those 4 basic skills that I mentioned have those types of steps associated with them that lead toward great social skills training. But there are some other social skills that I would also like to mention now. So what about eye contact? The first step of every one of the 4 basic skills is to look at the person. And that's because when you look at another person, you make a connection with them. Your eyes are the windows to your soul. When I decide to allow someone to look into my eyes, and I don't look down or away, but I look at them, then that person can see who I am, what my desires are. They can feel me. They can be connected to me. This is oftentimes a sign of confidence versus low confidence when a person looks away. So we want our children to be able to communicate in confident ways, so they need to start by being able to look at us in the eye. Now I know there are some people that struggle with that, and there are other connections that I could teach you things to do if people do not have the ability to look in the eyes. I also know there's cultures that definitely do not foster eye contact because they want to maintain a hierarchical society. However, even if you come from a society like that, I promise you, your children will draw closer to you when they get to see into your eyes. And you will actually draw closer to them too. And that's the number one most effective thing that they need for good social development. So see if you can work on eye contact, even if you have to teach them culturally. It might not always be approved of. Another social skill that oftentimes we have to train our children how to do is how to do a proper greeting, or how to do introductions and introduce themselves to other people. We never meet people if we don't know how to greet them. So just the other day I was walking down the road, I was walking my new little grandbaby in the stroller, and I was with my daughter, who she's the mom of the grandbaby. And we were walking by a place, I looked at a tree and I said, oh, I wonder what fruit that is on that tree. It's so dark, could be an apple, but maybe it's a plum, I'm not sure. I haven't seen a fruit quite that dark before. So she was looking at it, we were discussing it, and somebody walks out of the house. And she says, hi there, to the person. And the person looks over, hi. And she said, we were just admiring your tree. Can you tell us what type of fruit was on that tree? And the person got excited that someone cared about their tree, and they came over and talked to us about the tree. And we ended up leaving with armloads of these special apples that grew on this tree. It was really fun. And I couldn't help but be amazed and impressed by my daughter's social skills. She knew how to talk to somebody. She knew how to make eye contact, how to praise them a little bit, and then ask a question. Making introductions and asking questions are key social skills that we've got to teach our children. When I did foster care, the very first skill that I ever trained any of my foster children to do was what I called a proper greeting. So I taught them that when they met a person, that they should look in their eyes and they should say hello, some sort of salutation, or like my daughter said, hi there, and then say, my name is such and such. What is your name? And then after that point, state something. This is a very nice party, or it's really nice to meet you. Then hopefully the other person will say something back at you. Not everybody possesses good social skills, so some people don't pick up on social cues. But we can do our best to help our children recognize what to do if that happens to be the case. So that might take a little bit more discussion on your part. Usually what's going to happen next is we're going to start talking about asking questions. So just like my daughter asked this random stranger about his tree and his fruit, our children can be taught how to ask questions. So they can say to somebody after a proper greeting, or when they're meeting someone on the street that they've known before, they can say, "How have you been?" That's a pretty basic one. The problem with that question is it usually leads to pleasantries, which sometimes closes the door of conversation. So sometimes saying something else like, "I remember you had a big meeting coming up," or "I remember you play soccer. Is it soccer season right now?" Or "How are you liking your new soccer team?" Or something like that. That would open the door to conversation. Asking questions that just take a yes or a no do not improve a social connection. But asking questions that lead to a person explaining something, how they feel, or some facts related to something, will lead them naturally into conversing with your child. Children need to learn that there are safe people to talk to, even though the whole world seems like it's not safe right now. I know as parents, we're really nervous about allowing our children to warm up to other people, but help them develop good social skills with grandparents, aunts and uncles, cousins, trusted neighbors, people that they can discuss with so that they can plan to have good social interactions throughout their adult lives. Here's some other tips for you. Pre-teach your children about social circumstances. So before a social situation occurs, talk to your child about what might happen during that party or that interaction with these people that they might meet. Pre-teach them about what they could say, what they could ask. Give them the exact words to use. If they use your words at first and then get going, they'll start to take those words on as their own for future interactions that they might have with other people. And then also, after they are done meeting with people or having a social interaction, talk about how it went and how good they did, and help build on those successes so that they can have better, more confident social interactions in the future. Another part of the pre-teaching and the follow-up is possible role plays. If something happened that didn't feel very comfortable or they weren't sure how to navigate, role play it right then so that next time they know exactly how to handle the situation. Brains are different. Some people's brains need to know everything ahead of time in order to truly feel prepared. Some people can just adapt to any given situation. Some of that is our social training, but also some of it is just how we're wired. So if your child needs more preparation to feel confident socially, then definitely do those role play practices, those pre-teaches, and those follow-up meetings to help them find that confidence. If you've enjoyed this video, I'm pretty sure you'll like the next video, which is going to give you even more skills that you can do with your children. It's called How to Stop Being a Passive Parent. Click on the link to that video now.